Hi YouTube, my name is Spvwvvky and today we are watching Hytale Revealed World Generation version 2 by Chippy Gaming. I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, if you have any recommendations that you'd like me to react to, leave a comment below so I can check it out, okay? And don't forget to like and subscribe so you can support me, okay? I stream every day right now. I start between 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. EST. Okay, alright, cool. Anyways, enjoy.
Hytale is nearly 1 week away from launch, and the developers have just shared their biggest blog post yet, finally breaking down World Gen V2, which was teased back in November. There's been developments with launch platforms, zones, and mods, so we got a lot to talk about
cool.
today.
There's
now,
like
if you're picking up the game next week,
from what I'm aware of, by the way, of this game, there's two different like resource packs that you can use. There's 32 pixels, there's 64 pixels, and I think there's 18 pixels. Like, so people are gonna be able to make their own resource packs, right? Yeah, so it's really creative and stuff, and you have a lot of freedom.
or you want to pre-order it before then, please consider using my creator code Chippy at checkout. Right, let's jump into it. First off, the different zones in Orbis have been given official names, and we've learned a bit about them. Zone 1 is Emerald Wilds with 3 regions and several biomes. Zone 2 is Howling Sands with 3 regions and several biomes. Zone 3 is Whisper Frost Frontiers with 3 regions and several biomes. And Zone 4 is the Devastated Lands with 2 regions and several biomes. As described by Simon, regions are a bundle of biomes. We can treat them as tiers of difficulty in a way, even though right now the difficulty is somewhat not that steep between the tiers. We also got a look at the UI when you discover a new area for the first time. Here you have the frozen coasts, the drifting plains, the basalt peninsula, and boreal reach. Next up, Simon showed that with only 64
That's a good thing that they have. And the owner of Hypixel, yeah, so owner of Hypixel makes a game called Hytale, which is why it's called High, like at the front. Also, several biomes is a good thing. You don't want a game without several biomes, and especially because it's a sandbox game, you can like edit in a bunch of stuff.
lines of code, the lighting has now been smoothed out. You may remember that when it came to launch platforms, the official statement was Windows with Mac and Linux to be attempted. Well, there's been some great updates with that. With Slicky writing, we are launching with Linux,
I heard Linux is out now.
not ARM support, using Flatpak. We have not tried and won't try Proton. Given that we don't do any kernel level anti-cheat, you'll probably be able to run it via a compatibility layer 2, but that's for the community to find out. One test was conducted on a Steam Deck with attached docking station, monitor, keyboard, mouse, and got well playable results in local single player. And dev/nullrow, we're happy to announce that we'll be shipping Hytale with macOS support on the 13th. Hytale will support any M series Macs, with the minimum requirements being 1080p at 30 FPS with 192 view distance. That's with an M1 chip with 8 GB of RAM. And for 1080p 60 FPS, they're recommending an Apple M2 with 16 GB of RAM. Simon even wrote to me to say that he tested 2 days ago on an M1 Mac Mini with 8 GB of RAM and was getting around 60 FPS at 1080p with a bit over 200 view distance. And with how accessible M1 Macs are now, because they've been on the market a good while, I think that's great. Our next bit of news, CurseForge confirmed today that Hytale mods are coming soon. With Hytale's launch right around the corner, we're so excited to announce our partnership to support Hytale mods from day.
Wait, I actually have a massive complaint about this. I don't like CurseForge. I've heard a lot of bad things about CurseForge, like CurseForge being mining on your computer or whatever. I've heard like CurseForge like mines on your computer, like uses like your GPU to mine crypto or something.
They even included some testimonials from modders who wrote, "I never modded anything other than Minecraft, so I was quite scared of the learning curve. But to my surprise, everything that I wanted to do, I figured out very quickly."
Yay, that's cool.
The mod makers, who mostly add new assets, you're going to have a fun time. We even got a look at 2 separate mods, both very different, both very interesting. With Simon writing, the following video showcases a server-side Hytale mod created by a Hytale team member in their spare time. It's intended purely as inspiration for how different genres could be realized within Hytale. There was a big reaction to this online. I think people were very impressed with how good this looks, considering the game isn't even out yet. Then the second mod we saw was from Buzz135, Live, who wrote, one of the first mods I made for Hytale was a different take on Minecraft fortunes. Mining the same ore will give you an increasing chance of reappearing to be mined again. The more you mine, the higher the chance. They also wrote, I've been using the tools for a while and I already have 6 mods ready for release. They aren't the most shiny ones, but they will be very useful for Hytale on release. Now let's break down the latest blog post.
Okay, I think I will be planning Hytale on release because I've already pre-ordered the game. So that's super cool, but I don't know if I want to get the upgrades or not. So you guys should tell me in the comments below if you're getting Hytale upgrades.
Post, the future of world generation. This one is quite long, so I am going to paraphrase it. In this post, we want to discuss where we are right now and where we're going. Currently, we have 2 world generators in Hytale. Version 1 was developed from 2016 to 2020 and served as a prototype to understand our generation's needs. It produces playable results in exploration mode, but we eventually ended up hitting barriers when we tried to create more zones and more complex biomes. Version 2 has been in development since 2021 to address barriers we previously faced and enable us to achieve our global design goals. Version 2 will completely replace version 1 once we're ready, and will be the generator we support going forward. Hytale will launch with exploration mode on version 1 because it already has many biomes and content ready to go. We're now in the process of creating Orbis on version 2. Once completed, version 2 will become the primary world generator, and you'll enter the new world of Orbis. Version 1 will eventually stop generating chunks, but your old version 1 worlds will still be accessible. In the meantime, players will be able to see and experience version 2 content that's under construction by visiting fragments of Orbis through gateways in exploration mode. Then, once we're ready, we'll begin testing in a pre-release build for the world of Orbis. Now, before we take a look at the clips of World Gen V2 in action, like how it looks in game, I'm going to reshuffle the blog post because I want to break down what even is.
I'm not a fan. This is a crazy angle to pause on. I'm not a fan of how the characters look right now, but like I mentioned before, because there are so many resource packs, like hopefully that will be coming out, and because there are like options for like, hold on, let me just Google this so I know what I'm talking about. Hypixel, because that means you can have, like, people are gonna make their own version of faces and stuff, and I'm really excited for that because I'm not currently a fan of how they look at the moment. Oh my gosh, wait, look, this is their 32 size resource pack. See, this is what I mean, like on the left, that's the kind of textures I'm looking forward to. I think that's gonna look really nice. Like that's the part of like Hytale that I wanna play. Yeah. So this is the link. This is by Hatsuya Dev on Twitter. Yeah, I like that. That's nice. Okay, I'll be using their resource pack, definitely. I'm excited for that one.
I'm going to reshuffle the blog post because I want to break down what even is V2. From my understanding, the very core of V2 is that it's highly customizable. Anyone can create content and modify World Gem without knowing how to code, as V2 can be edited directly in our node editor. With our visual node editor, creators can build advanced procedural content by configuring and linking simple nodes. When editing World Gem, the world live reloads in game to reflect the changes made within the editor. This is all to make creating advanced biomes easier and faster, bridging the gap between developers and creators. They show the node editor in action across a couple different clips, but rather than really breaking this down, because even though it is accessible, it's not like super accessible. You're going to need some tutorials for this. What everyone needs to understand though is that with these tools, you'll be able to edit world generation without needing to go into the code of the game. For example, let me explain this in Terraria terms. If I wanted to generate a Terraria world that was solely spheres, like imagine it's a bunch of different planets, right? And I only had vanilla Terraria in front of me, How would I go about that? Well, if I didn't know how to program, which I don't, by the way, I should make that clear, I would have to strip out a world and then manually build it block by block. But with a node editor, you could start layering concepts on top of each other. I could say, hey, I want a world that's just spheres. Then I could say, oh, I want these to be made of stone. Then the next layer, grass. Add on that some of the spheres are going to have prefabs like little cavern houses. That is essentially world.
This is something that would never ever come to Minecraft, I think. Like, Minecraft is really good in the sense that there's such a big modding community and there's so many people that mod Minecraft and they're so good at it. Like, without the mods, I do not think that Minecraft would be as successful as it is these days. Like, I don't know if that's like a controversial opinion or something, but I think Minecraft is really heavily like put together by the community. Like, you kind of like one of those vibes where it's like for the people, by the people, like that. You know what I mean?
Gen V2, it's a set of tools so that you can do things you previously couldn't. And to show the potential of this, we got a lot of clips and screenshots. For example, this first clip with the player walking through the taiga biome, it really shows how beautiful the game can look with Gen 2. But when you jump to this clip, you start to see the potential of the tools on offer. Like, to me, this reminds me a lot of the original Ether mod, but the Ether mod was created by a programmer. In the blog post, they also added a note from Simon. For the first time, artists and game designers can take full ownership of world generation with complete control over the final results. This is a fundamental shift away from a world shaped almost solely by programmers. With that in mind, I'm pleased to announce that we're planning to expand the Hytale team with a new job role that, for the most part, has not existed in block-based games before, World Designer. Following the early access release, we plan to expand our team by hiring more than 15 world designers. These roles will be filled primarily from the community as artists and game designers learn and build using the same tools we use internally and choose to apply. Hytale's vision is to feel carefully handcrafted while remaining infinitely procedural, with design always serving gameplay first. We are intentionally expansive, just as we envisioned years ago. Beyond Orbis, we plan to explore alternative worlds, new dimensions, and entirely different spaces. These worlds give us room to introduce new blocks, items, prefabs, zones, regions, biomes, NPCs, quests, stories, and gameplay systems. Not every concept will ship, but together they represent the direction we're taking as we continue to expand the game. For a blog post that had a lot of expectations because of how hyped up it was, they had a lot to deliver on, but I can honestly say I'm very satisfied and I see the vision. What's becoming very clear about Hytale is that it's not just a game, it's also a set of tools. And as I've said in various videos, if you give creative people good tools, they will make good work. As I mentioned earlier, I do have a creator code Chippy, so if you're planning to purchase the game, please consider using my code at checkout. And if you're somebody that's already done so, seriously, thank you so much. Right, that's it for today. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Nice. That was good. I'm excited for Hytale. It's coming out next week, right? I'm pretty sure. That's exciting. I'm looking forward to it.